Coming up on Refresh Cinema.
When I was a kid, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I understand she was doing something to his junk, but I didn't understand that. I thought, in my head, she's just like, oh, she's ghosting his pee-pee. Like, you know, I didn't know what was happening.
Hey everybody, welcome to Refresh Cinema. I'm Jess.
And I'm Vincent, and today we're talking about an 80s classic, Ghostbusters.
Hell yeah.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
This movie's fantastic. So you grew up watching this.
I was a huge Ghostbusters fan, and that is very evident because we have something new on the wall today. This, believe it or not, was something that I once fit into. My mother bought this for me at Sears when I was super young. I used to wear it all the time, and this is just one of those reminders of like, holy crap, how much I've grown in good ways and bad ways. But this was I used to wear this all the time. I used to wear this to bed. On the back, it's got a little, over my camera here, like, you know, so it's like, back off, man. I'm a Ghostbuster. Which, of course, is like, switch up on the quote.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
I had this. I would watch the movie endlessly over and over again. I had all the toys. I had the proton pack. I had the ghost trap. I'm pretty sure I had the PKE meter. I had the Ecto-1, their car. I even had, I'm pretty sure from the second movie, I had the slime thrower.
Nice.
Ghostbusters!
Yeah, so I was a huge Ghostbusters fan, so much so that I never forgot this. So on one time, my parents had rented it from Blockbuster, which was probably like the 12th time they'd done it for me. And I didn't want them to take it back yet. My dad was getting ready. He was putting his shoes on. And I went up to, remember, I'm this small. I want to make this clear. This isn't something that happened last week. I ran up to him and I wrapped my arms and legs around his leg and begged him not to take it back. And my dad took the late fee hits and let me keep it for one more day.
This university will no longer continue any funding of any kind for your group's activities.
But the kids love us.
It's fantastic. I don't think I'd ever really sat down and watched Ghostbusters in one go. And I gotta say, this is one of the funniest, most well-written movies I've ever seen. Every one-liner just hits, and it's the right amount of zany and nerdy and funny.
That's the bedroom, but nothing ever happened in there.
What a crime.
10 out of 10. This was your choice today. And
Yes,
obviously, and 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this is our choice because we're, this is our October picks.
Oh, yeah, happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween, everybody. I hope your Halloween's going to be awesome. I mean, you had an incredible cast. You had some major comedy hitters of the time period. We had, Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz, who he was one of the writers of the film, and Harold Ramis, who played Egon, and then, of course, later in the movie, we get Ernie Hudson as Winston, and Sigourney Weaver, the queen, Sigourney Weaver, coming in.
Yes.
You don't act like a scientist.
They're usually pretty stiff.
You're more like a game show host.
Usually we go over the whole storyline of a movie, but everyone knows Ghostbusters so well, I feel like we can just talk about the stuff that we enjoyed. And any possible
fun facts.
Yes, fun facts, or maybe and some nitpicks we might have. But I think we'll start with Egon, played by the late, great Harold Ramis.
Very handy, I can tell.
He plays Egon so well because Egon's he's the engineer of the group. Like, both Ray and Egon are, like, they're technically all scientists. Venkman, we'll get to that when we get to his character. But Egon's just great because he's like, they're all like social outcasts in a way. Like, they're all kind of weirdos, but Venkman's the one who's the most stiff and collects spores, molds, and fungus.
what a fun guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, he's took me a sec. I got it. But Egon's great because like he's the one who like he's he's always chill in a situation, but that's because he's just not a very expressive person. So when he's freaking out, you know shit is going bad.
Yeah.
Captain, these men are a criminal violation of the Environmental Protection Act. And this explosion is a direct result of it. Your mother! Come on, Mr.
You know, like the first scene, like one of the early scenes of the movie where they go to check out the ghost in the library, which they've been searching for ghosts so long, right? Even Venkman, who's like their friend, he's Ray and Egon's friends, he's like, he doesn't really believe them, but they're friends, so he goes along with their stuff. And then they finally see a ghost, and even Egon gets freaked out when it's like, you know. Then we got Ray and Venkman. Between Ray and Venkman, which one do you like more, if you had to pick?
Which actor is Bill Murray?
Bill Murray is Venkman.
Bill Murray. He's got some of the best one-liners in the whole movie. It's just hilarious.
You know, it's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
I blame myself.
So do I.
Yeah, Venkman is when we're first and this is like classic kind of 80s comedy protagonist, the guy who's like the charming swindler. He's a real jerk, but you kind of forgive him as an audience member because he's so damn funny.
Yeah.
But the first time we meet him, he's trying to bang like one of the college students.
Clear your head.
And he's totally the whole psychic thing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he has the kids pick in, like, guess what shape is on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one guy, he just keeps shocking because he gets it wrong. But he keeps lying that she's getting it right because he wants to get her in bed so bad. And he's a jerk for doing that.
Perhaps you could come back this evening, say at
8 o'clock?
I was just going to say 8 o'clock. You are a legitimate phenomenon.
When they finally find a ghost, Egon and Ray are like, they're handling it like scientists. Like, oh, we got this information now. We got this data. We can show people. But it's Venkman's idea to turn it into a business because he thinks this is going to be easy money. Oh, we'll just capture ghosts. But he doesn't understand because Egon doesn't explain what that means to capture a ghost. He just...
Where are we going to get the money?
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, what were some of your favorite moments with Venkman in this, if you had to pick a few?
I liked when Dana, Sigourney Weaver's character, was possessed, and she says to him, she's coming on to him, like she's very possessed, and she says, I don't even want, this is awkward for me to say into a microphone, she says, I want me. And Venkman's like, it's pretty crowded in there already, you have at least 2 people in there.
Yeah.
And I cracked up some of these lines I just wasn't expecting.
Yeah, which is also a good moment for Venkman because, like, we have to see that this character does have some good qualities.
And he kisses her a little bit.
Yeah. And, like, she starts to kiss him, and at first he's like, because that's what he's been trying to get her the whole movie, and he's like, wait, no, this is wrong. Like, he has some standard.
What I'd really like to do is talk to Dana. I want to talk to Dana.
Credits to Sigourney Weaver was so great as Dana in this movie.
Her audition.
Oh.
I read about her audition. So she had just come off of doing Alien, and she wanted to do something funnier. So for her audition as Dana, she said no words. She just pretended to be transforming into one of those demon dogs.
Oh.
It was like writhing around and snarling.
Really?
And that was her audition.
Holy crap.
Isn't that's amazing?
That's awesome.
Yeah, if that's true. I read it on the internet.
Yeah.
And of course, everything on the internet is true.
Are you the Keymaster?
Not that I know of.
But Dana is such a great love interest for Venkman because he can trick. You can tell he's the type of person where any woman he's ever been with, he basically tricked them into thinking he's a good guy or he's like a charming dude. But she sees right through him.
Yep.
She's the exact kind of love interest, a character like that. Because right off the bat, what she said, you're so weird.
Yeah, and he, as soon as they met, like, in her house because of her ghosty issues, he was like, you're going to fall in love with me, you're not going to stop being able to think about me, blah, 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 blah. Which I'm saying it quickly because I'm realizing now I was watching that in 1.5 speed because I was short on time.
Okay, but...
Sorry.
We handle this kind of thing all the time.
Let's talk about Dan Aykroyd's character, Ray, who is like a big kid. He's just a big kid who's like he gets so excited, like that first scene where we see him, he's rushing into their lab at the college. He's like, Venkman, we found one. It's real. Oh my God. Like, it's great.
10 people witnessed a free-floating, full-torso vaporous apparition. It blew books off shelves from 20 feet away and scared the socks off some poor librarian.
But he's great. But he's like such a kid where he's so excited. And I love this. There's a scene in where they're like, how are we going to get money to start this business? And Venkman convinces him to take out 3 mortgages on his family home.
Oh, yeah. He said everyone has 3 mortgages.
Yeah. And you're like, even as a kid, I like not understanding what a mortgage was. I understood what Venkman did was bad.
Yep.
Which is great. Which is another great thing. I mean, like, everything's written where, like, there's technically adult stuff in it, but as a kid, I got most of it, you know?
Yeah.
But then they get to the firehouse, and we have this great scene where, like, this old firehouse, and it's in shambles, and this real estate person is trying to convince them, like, this is really nice, isn't it?
This is great. Perfect for your office.
And Venkman looks to Egon, who's being a scientist and an engineer. He knows what's good and what's not, and he asks Egon, and Egon goes on this diatribe of everything that's wrong with this building.
There's serious metal fatigue in all the load-bearing members. The wiring is substandard. It's completely inadequate for our power needs, and the neighborhood is like a demilitarized zone. But
then Ray, giddy as a schoolgirl, comes down the fireman's pole, and he's like, this place is great. We should stay here tonight. You know, try it out. And he's so excited, and Venkman sees how happy Ray is. And this is just after he got him to do the mortgages on his house. And Venkman looks to Egon, and Egon's just like, don't do it. Don't do it. But Venkman, you can see in Venkman's eyes that he's like, I just convinced this guy to basically lose his house. We're going to give it to Ray.
Yeah,
we're just going to go with what makes Ray happy.
I think we'll take it.
Good.
Later in the movie, Venkman refers to Ray as the heart of the Ghostbusters, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Ray is the heart, Egon's the brains, Venkman is the mouth. I would describe him as the mouth.
Miss Barrett, you seem to think there is something wrong up here that says, in your mind, he enjoys taking his evenings off and spending it with his clients. No, I'm making a special exception in your case.
I want to know how I would call Winston's position on the team. He comes in a little late, but he's I would describe him as the everyman of the group. Because he is a normal guy.
Just a normal dude.
And credit to Ernie Hudson bringing that just like every guy day energy to the role. And I love how they handled Winston in this movie. Because he comes in like halfway or more through the film. The setup is like, this is what the movie's about. We set up the problem in Dana Barrett's apartment, build up the business. We got, Janine running the front desk. Annie Potts playing Janine, credit to her, giving attitude to Venkman and everybody.
Yeah, she was great.
Yes. Total New Yorker vibe coming right off of her. It's great.
Any customers?
No, Dr. Venkman.
It's a good job, isn't it?
And then Winston comes in, and he's just a guy looking for a job.
He's like, oh, does it pay? All right, I'm in.
Yeah.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
Yeah. And then no one even questions it. Janine says, yeah, this guy's here about the job. And they're like, okay, great, help us. Yeah. They don't ask him anything.
They're so busy. They're so understaffed. And like their business is probably only a couple months old, and they're already understaffed because there's so many ghosts coming up all over New York.
Yeah.
But what they really do great with Winston is like, okay, we've introduced this 4th member of the team. It's halfway through the film. We got to give this guy some memorable moments. And they do. They give him so many good memorable moments,
When he tells the mayor, I've seen shit that'll turn you white. That got me. I was like, what is this movie? What am I watching?
Yeah. And then there's a scene where the famous scene where Egon is describing, like, the paranormal energy that's in New York. And he's like, oh, it'd be a Twinkie that's, like, 35 feet long and be, like, 6 tons. And, Winston just, like, with, like a cigarette in his hand.
That's a big Twinkie.
It's just great. And one of my favorite moments in the movie is a Winston moment. Winston and Ray have just gone off a job, or I think they're heading back to like the firehouse. And they're talking, and Ray's looking over like the plans for the Dana Barrett's apartment building because he's trying to figure out like, okay, why did like a dog thing show up in a refrigerator?
Yeah.
And Winston asks him like, hey, have you ever read the Bible? Because apparently Winston is a religious man. And to Ray, Catholicism or Hinduism or Judaism, all the religions, they're just mythology to him until they're proven to be real. Mm-hmm. And he just sees it as that because that's who he is. And and they start quoting a part of the Bible about the end of days, Judgment Day and all that stuff. about the part like, the dead rise from the grave. And like, once again, Ray's just like, oh, every religion has their own doomsday thing. And, it's just a myth. And Winston's like,
myth? Ray, has it ever occurred to you that maybe the reason we've been so busy lately is because the dead have been rising from the grave?
And you see that thing go over Dan Aykroyd's face where he's like, he never thought about it like that. To him, he's having fun. As much as the business is tiring him out, he's living his dream. He's finding ghosts. He's collecting data. He's learning about more paranormal stuff. But he never really considered just like what it means.
Yeah.
And I love that because Winston brings this wisdom to the group that the others don't have. And then, of course, there is a famous scene in the movie where they get blasted by Gozer, and Winston's like,
when someone asks you if you're a god, you say, yes!
Very famous line in the movie, delivered great by Ernie Hudson, who's just, it's just awesome.
Because even like it asks, are you a god? Yeah. And Bill Murray's back there like,
yeah.
Then the dude just says no.
All right. This chick is toast.
So yeah, a lot of great moments with all these characters. And we got, of course, Rick Moranis playing Lewis.
The original idea was to do John Candy, I think.
Oh yeah,
instead
I think I've heard
of Rick
about
Moranis,
this.
yeah. But Rick Moranis
yeah.
still more than got the job done.
Oh, no.
Oh, he was so funny.
Not disappointed by Moranis. Don't get me wrong. Would have loved John Candy, but Rick Moranis did not disappoint at all. Hell, one of my favorite movies, Spaceballs, is on the shelf back there. There's Rick Moranis' dark helmet right on the front. But Rick Moranis is great because he's this guy, this dorky dude who cannot take an effing hint that Dana does not want to hang out with him.
I turned up my TV real loud too, so everyone to think that both our TVs had something wrong with it. Okay, so I'll see you later, huh? I'll give you a call.
Poor little bud.
Yeah, and he's not like possessive about it. He's not like one who's like, she's a bitch for not wanting to hang out.
No pun intended. He's not possessive because he gets possessed in a minute.
Hey, he pulls the wagon. I make the deals. You want to ride?
Then, of course, the great scene where, like, the hellhound or whatever comes after him, the keymaster, and it just shows up in his bedroom, and they throw a coat on it by accident.
He doesn't notice it's dark in there.
Yeah.
And then they hear the growling. Is who's brought a dog?
As a kid, as much as I loved and adored this movie, I couldn't watch this scene. The devil dog scared the ever-loving crap. There was for years.
What?
Whenever this scene came on, I would close my eyes.
No.
Yeah. I could tolerate them at the end of the movie when they're on top of the apartment building.
Yeah.
When they're up there, it didn't bother me. But when it was in the bedroom and it was busting through walls and it was chasing Rick Moranis across the street, but because I knew when I still would catch Rick Moranis in his like hilarious scene where he's trying to get into that like glass restaurant in the middle of Central Park.
And it's just a bunch of yuppies in there.
Yeah. But it's real great. He's like banging like, let me in. And then he turns and he's like, oh, cute little pooch. And he's just like, Before we get to like probably the funnest scene in the movie, the hotel scene.
Yes.
I just want to say, as someone who loves this movie, I've said this so many times already, but I want to say, when you really think about it, this movie shouldn't have worked. This movie is about a bunch of guys who have unemployed outcasts who discover that they can capture ghosts with nuclear laser lassos, essentially.
Yep.
And when you say it like that, nothing about that should work. They shoot ghosts with nuclear lasers, and it lassos them somehow, and then they put them in a metal shoebox.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 80s was just a good time for weird-ass concepts.
Bring it back.
Yes. But anyway, should we talk about the hotel scene?
Yes. I'll let you take the lead on this.
Okay. Dip in when you want, because I've been ranting a lot. I want you to get your shit in.
You keep ranting. I'm loving it.
Okay. So Janine's about to leave for the night, and then they get the call, and even Janine's like,
"We got one!"
slams the button. They're like, oh, they're like, whoa. They go down the fireman's pole, peel out in the Ecto-1. Classic movie vehicle. Just want to give a shout out to the Ecto-1 because their first case when it peels out of the fire station and like streaks down the road. That was the first time we seen it with a new paint job and all like the gizmos and crap they put on top. Peel out. They go to the super fancy hotel. So they bust in, and the first thing that comes out of Venkman's mouth was like, "Anybody seen a ghost?" In this busy lobby with rich socialite New Yorkers walking back and forth.
I hope we could take care of this quietly.
It's done.
Tonight.
Yes, sir. Don't worry. We handle this kind of thing all the time.
And one of like another great line where there's this one guy with a cigar who's waiting for the elevator, and he looks at them with all like their weird jumpsuits and their gear, and it's like,
"What are you supposed to be? Some kind of a cosmonaut?"
And he's like, Venkman's just like, "No, we're exterminators. A cockroach up on 12." And I don't know who this actor is. This guy who's just in the movie for like 15 seconds. He's like, "That must be some cockroach."
Going up.
I'll take the next one.
Ray's just like, "Oh man, I wish we'd gotten to test the equipment out before." And then Venkman's like, "Yeah, we should have tested out these unlicensed nuclear accelerators strapped to our backs." And that's the first time they mention just what exactly these things are.
Yeah.
We don't know what they are. So he's like, Venkman, he's like, "Egon, can you switch on my proton pack?" And he does, and then he switches and it goes, and then Egon slowly like pushes more to the side because he doesn't want to be behind the damn thing. It's just like,
yeah.
And they pull out their neutrino wands, the guns, and Ray and Egon do. Venkman's still kind of like, "Nice place," And they almost kill the cleaning lady.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Yeah. And it's this big burst of like, holy crap, because once again, like, imagine watching this for the first time. You've never seen Ghostbusters, you know nothing about it. You don't know what these things do. You didn't know a freaking laser beam was going to shoot out the end. We have no idea what's about to happen. And then, boom, you're like, holy crap.
And he destroys their cleaning cart. And I love how they're just like, "Oh, we thought you were someone else."
Yeah.
Oops.
What the hell are you doing?
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else.
Ray spots the most famous ghost in Ghostbusters history, Slimer. And he's just this eating machine. He's just
this green blob.
Yeah.
Just this lime green blob.
Disgusting blob.
But then Venkman finds it, and he just doesn't know what to do. Because he's like, they didn't do nothing about the library ghost. He doesn't know what the...
Yeah.
And he's waiting for Ray to back him up. But it's too late. Slimer just charges him. Ray finds him, and you think, "Oh my god, what happened? Are they killing Bill Murray?" And like, no, and they're like, he's just covered in ectoplasm.
He's laying on the floor, just covered.
Yeah.
He slimed me.
That's great! Actual physical contact! Can you move?
Excellent! This is great! And like, he calls Egon. He's like, "You got slimed." And Egon, "That's great. Wait, that's great. Give me a sample." And none of them are acknowledging that this man is covered in ghost snot. Just like, like.
Okay, sir, if you and your staff could please wait out here, we'll take care of everything.
And then finally they start to like do a little bit of strategy. We're like Ray's like, "Okay, guys, let's spread out." And he's like, "Ray, go." Goes and misses. Egon, and they're trying to like pin him in. They're trying, so they're starting to try some strategy, and then they kind of use it, and they get Slimer, and then they bust out the trap. Once again, if you've never seen Ghostbusters, okay, what's this thing then?
Yeah.
And he just rolls out the trap, opens up, and sucks Slimer down in, and they have finally completed. And Ray is just so happy. He was having such a great time, and he's just like,
Well, that wasn't such a chore, now, was it?
and even Egon's like, "Ray," like he doesn't
really.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Did you see it? What is it?
The damage has been done, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna like," because they're broke. They are dead ass broke. So they just start. Venkman just starts like, like, "Oh well, usual payment for this is gonna be like," and he looks over to Egon. Egon's like, he's just holding out his fingers, and he's like, $5,000, and we're having a specialty on proton charging, and that's only gonna cost you. And Egon's like, like 1,000. And then,
I didn't notice he was doing the finger thing.
oh yeah, because like once
that's
again,
great.
because Egon's keeping track of the numbers really more than Venkman is, because he's
Venkman.
He's Venkman. He's keeping track of Dana Barrett. That's the only number he needs to know about. What's her phone number?
Tell you what, I'll take Miss Barrett back to her apartment and check her out. I'll go check out Miss Barrett's apartment.
Oh my God.
They get their money and they're on their way.
Yeah.
And they have this happy little ghost.
Yeah. And because then the news breaks and now they're having business left and right, everybody's calling them up. And then finally, they realize like, oh, Dana Barrett's apartment building was designed to be a lightning rod for supernatural energy. And it was built by a cult who worshipped an ancient Sumerian god.
Now, we're actually going to go before a federal judge and say that some moldy Babylonian god is going to drop in on Central Park West and start tearing up the city.
Sumerian, not Babylonian.
Yeah, big difference.
No offense, but I got to get my own lawyer.
Yeah, the ending is so crazy, and this movie was my introduction to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Which is,
what a great scene.
Yeah, and it's kind of foreshadowed earlier in the movie.
Because he has a thing of marshmallows with the little buddy on it.
Yeah, he's seen Stay Puft Marshmallows earlier in the movie, and also there is a Stay Puft billboard near the fire station.
Oh.
Oh, no. Mother puss bucket.
What a good scene. Choose the form of your destructor. And everyone's trying to keep their heads clear.
Yeah.
And then you see Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
He's all smiling like, oh, I'm gonna murder you all.
and what does the guy say? He's like, I thought he could never hurt us. The one thing that could never hurt us.
Mr. Stay Puft.
And I love how they literally roast him. For he is a marshmallow.
Oh, they mentioned earlier in the movie that, don't cross the streams.
Yeah.
Which is set up. I like it when things pay off. And they realize, because, if we cross the streams, it's going to cause like a light speed explosion. And we're all going to be dead. But it turns out it's the only way to stop the bad guy.
We'll cross the streams.
Excuse me, Egon. You said crossing the streams was bad.
Cross the streams.
But yeah, no, I love after like the big explosion, which if this movie came out today, everybody would be complaining about, they should have been dead at the end. Like, yeah, that totally would have, and hell, maybe I would have been one of those people that would have gone in on that. We've become very nitpicky in our film criticism, I feel like, a lot.
Just enjoy it.
Egon, this reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head. Remember that?
That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
Yeah, they cross the streams, and it blows up. Massive explosion, so big that blows up the top of the building, and a cloud layer separates. But yeah, like they had this moment, and like
Dana like sticks her hand out of the dog monster cell she was like fried in.
Yeah.
And then they have a kiss.
Yes.
She and Bill Murray.
Yeah.
He gets his girl.
Yes. And he's basically earned it at this point.
I think he's earned it, yeah.
Yeah, they saved the world. He turned down sex with her when her body was not under her control.
Yes.
You know,
that's the bare minimum.
Yes.
Good for him doing the bare minimum.
Yeah. We did not get that in the last Wonder Woman movie, but that's a discussion for another time. When Peter Venkman says no to sex with somebody who's not in control of their body, and you don't, you done f***ed up. I'm just saying that out there.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Please come down.
Such a good movie, such a funny movie. So many weird ideas that just worked. And one thing they shouldn't. They shouldn't have worked, but it did. They found a way, and it happened. Damn it, it happened.
It happened, and it was great. I loved it.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Awesome. Yeah, so 10 out of 10. I was like, yeah, this will be a good movie, and I was cracking up the whole time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it never goes too long without giving you a laugh.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I will give one more fun fact.
Yeah.
All the gunk on the walls in the library scene.
Yeah.
Egg.
Really?
Egg.
That must have been a bitch and a half to get off afterwards.
Oh. Ah.
Right? Oh, and can I say, everyone always skirts over the scene where a guy's laying in bed and he gets some fun times from a ghost.
Oh, Ray's scene. Yeah.
Can we just, real quick, no one ever talks about that. I was like, is this, what?
When I was a kid, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I understand she was doing something to his junk, but I didn't understand that. I thought, in my head, she's just like, oh, she's ghosting his pee-pee. Like, you know, I didn't know what was happening.
Yep, so that's how we're going to end this video.
Yes.
She's ghosting his pee-pee. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Bye. And we'll do a high five.
Yeah.